What's up, guys? It's Breakshift, and I've got another meme deck. Now, if you saw the Bestial deck I posted a while ago, you might have been wondering, why do I own 2 Chaos Angels? Several people in the comments were asking about it, and this is why. This is why I own 2 Chaos Angels, because I was using them in this deck. What is this deck? It's Chaos Angel Turbo. The entire idea behind this build is most decks don't have in-engine outs to Chaos Angel, right? Let's give him a quick read in case you're not familiar. He's a level 10 Synchro, 3500 attack, 2800 defense. He requires a tuner plus a non-tuner light or dark, and for his Synchro summon, you can treat one of those light or dark monsters as a tuner. So pretty easy to make. If he's special summoned, you can target a card on the field and banish it. Cool. And then he gets bonus effects based on the attributes used to summon him. If you used a light monster, synchro monsters you control are unaffected by monster effects activated by your opponent. If you used a dark, all monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. So if you use both attributes to make this guy, he's unaffected by all activated monster effects and he's immune to battle. So that's kind of difficult to out, right? All of the typical like extra deck monsters that they might go into that have removal options, they're not going to work on this guy. They can't like go Baron Pop, they can't SP Banish, they can't just punch over it. He is very sticky. So the one thing that makes this card relatively easy to out for people who've prepared for it, though, is this Underworld Goddess. Right, it's a Link 5, and it can use one monster the opponent controls as Link material. So if they just put any 4 monsters on the board and they have this in their extra deck, they can get rid of your Chaos Angel. So what if we just made 2? What if we just summoned a second Chaos Angel? Nobody plays 2 Underworld Goddess. So if we have 2 Chaos Angels with both effects, maybe they just can't out both of them, and we just win? That's the idea here. It's not a particularly good deck, but it is pretty funny. Of course, most decks do have cards that will get rid of your Chaos Angel, even if you do have 2 of them. He just loses to like Imperm, any kind of card like, you know, a Raigeki. That kind of stuff will get rid of him. But they sort of just have to hard draw those cards. Nobody really has a reliable way to access those for the most part. So how are we going to summon a bunch of Chaos Angels? Well, there are a few cards that you will recognize if you watch that Bestial deck profile. We've got, of course, you know, all of the Bestials, the Lubellians, and so on, and we're pairing with them our Chaos Valks, our Raidens, and our Charge of the Light Brigade. These are just good level 4 lights. They go with your level 6 darks. You make Chaos Angel. You get free mills with the Charge and the Raiden and stuff like that. The Chaos Valk has that interesting effect where if it's banished, you can send any light or dark to the grave, but you can't activate its effects. In the Bestial deck, we were using that to set up Albalos. In this deck, like you can send a Lubellian, because his summon is also an inherent summon, even though you can't activate his effects. If you send him with Chaos Valk, you can still use his special summon from the graveyard ability. You won't be able to place a spell or anything, but, you know, if you just happen to need the level, that is an option. Otherwise, though, you're just putting more fodder in the graveyard for the most part, more things for you to banish for your Bestials. And then we have a couple other ways to facilitate Chaos Angel. We've got this guy, Assault Synchron, as a level 2 Dark Tuner. The only effect we really care about for this guy is during the main phase, you can special him from your hand, take 700, and while he's on the board, you're locked into Synchros. That's it. Nice and easy, free summon. We get to search him out with Tuning. Tuning, very nice as well, because it's not once per turn, so it doesn't matter if you draw multiples, and the random mill is actually pretty nice. The Assault Synchron summon effect is once per turn, so even if you have like multiple of these, you can search both of these guys. You won't be able to summon both of them, but there's other things you can do with the other one. You can discard him for Chaos Space to search Lubellian, for example. And, you know, theoretically, you can normal summon this card as well. We also have another level 2 Dark Tuner to go with our Lubellian for a Chaos Angel, and that's Plague Spreader Zombie. This guy we are trying to summon out of the deck for free with Synchro Overtake. This is a pretty neat little card. Reveal a Synchro monster in your extra deck, choose one of the Synchro materials mentioned on it, and then add it to your hand or special summon it from the deck or graveyard, but you are Synchro locked for the rest of the turn. So it just so happens Revived King Hades mentions Plague Spreader Zombie. So we just play him here as a target for the Synchro Overtake. We reveal him, and then we can special Plague Spreader. Very nice. The fact that it can summon from the graveyard is great as well, so we don't really care if we start out with like a charge or something and we randomly mill the Plague Spreader Zombie. Not a problem. You can just Synchro Overtake him back anyway. And of course, when you've used the Synchro Overtake to get him on the board and then you sync him off, you can use his Engrave effect again to get him back on the board. Pretty nice. And the last thing we're doing is Diviner of the Herald. This card is your other normal summon besides Raiden, and it's a better normal summon because it's just a 1-card Chaos Angel with both effects. You normal summon her or special summon her, whatever. You put her on the board. She dumps Trias Hierarchia from the deck. While this card's in the graveyard, you can tribute up to 3 fairies, special it, and then you can do some effects. We don't care about that. We really just are going to tribute the Diviner, get this guy out as a level 9 light, and then when the Diviner is tributed, you can special summon a level 2 or lower fairy. So since this is a level 9 light, we want a level 1 dark fairy, and we're going with Despian Tragedy. It would be nice if there was an actual tuner as a level 1 dark fairy, but it turns out there just are none. So we went with Tragedy because he does actually have an effect that'll come up like once in a blue moon, where you can banish him from the graveyard to target a branded spell or trap in the graveyard and set it. So you can use him to recycle or regain if need be. But I mean, that's not very relevant, but whatever, it's something, you know? Gives him an edge over the other like 2 options we could have had in this slot. So, right, normal summon Diviner, that's a Chaos Angel. Pair either of these 4s with a Bestial, that's a Chaos Angel. Pair Assault Synchron or Plague Spreader Zombie with Lubellion, that's a Chaos Angel. A lot of ways to get out our Chaos Angel. In addition to Chaos Angel, of course, we are playing some other level 10s because Raiden is a real tuner. And, of course, you know, the Assault Synchron, and also technically Diviner of the Herald, also a tuner. That doesn't usually matter. She's light. We want our level 2 tuners to be dark. But, you know, if you're going into actual Synchro monsters, then maybe this is relevant. The most important of our level 10s is actually going to be Dispater, that is after Chaos Angel. So, what's this guy's deal? He requires a non-tuner dragon. He can target a banished light or dark and special summon it. And when the opponent activates a monster effect, he can shuffle a banished card into the deck. If you shuffled it into your deck, you destroy the monster. If you shuffled it into the opponent's deck, you negate the effect. So this is actually a pretty good card, because even though we're really just trying to do Chaos Angel twice, pretty often he ends up being sort of free, right? Like, let's say we have 1 Chaos Angel, and we're looking at making another level 10, we might say, okay, well, I could just make the second Chaos Angel, and then maybe I have like a Bestial laying around or whatever, right? Well, instead, you could just make Dispater. He can summon back a 4 that's banished, and then that leftover Bestial turns into the second Chaos Angel, so now you just get a free Dispater in the mix as well. That actually comes up pretty frequently, that you can just squeeze in the Dispater. He's also got big stats, and don't forget that Chaos Angel makes all your synchros unaffected, and all of your monsters can't be destroyed by battle. So the Dispater will inherit all of that protection as well. Very, very nice. And the negate/destroy effect is also pretty relevant. That can definitely be useful. We, of course, also have Baron, why not? And then we've got, like, the 3rd or 4th best level 10 Chungying. He comes up sometimes, so, you know, why not? We chucked him in there. We've got room in the extra deck. We also have the Psychic End Punisher. This isn't likely to come up, but if you end up with a level 2 tuner that can go alongside your Trios, you could make this. We have Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This guy is just here to be a level 8 Dark Dragon. So if we wanted to... If we had like 2 4s on board and we needed to turn them into something that Lubellion could use to summon himself out of the graveyard, that's what this guy is for. Because Lubellion can summon himself by tributing off any level 6 or higher Dark Dragon. That's the same reason we have Mud Dragon here. This is for if we have a 4 and a 2, and we need to turn them into something that can summon out the Lubellion. We already talked about Hades. We got Psyframe Lord Omega. This is for if we need to make a level 8 light for whatever reason. He also can do the whole Dispater thing. You banish him to rip a card, Dispater, bring him back, banish him to rip another card. Not super likely to come up, but it's an option. Then we also have just some decent generic Link guys. There are a few things that synchro lock us, remember. While Assault Synchron's on the field, we're synchro locked, and if we use Overtake at all, we're synchro locked. But if you're not, you might just want to do something with some random material you have, so why not have these guys? No real room for hand traps in this deck. I'm even at over 40 cards here, just trying to fit the engine. We just purely just the Maxi and the Called By is all we've got here. This is not a very good deck, as you might expect. This is like low platinum level, but it is very funny when you win. I got one replay to show you guys the deck in action here. It's kind of hard to get good replays with this deck because a lot of the times that the opponent just can out the Chaos Angel, they'll just get frustrated and quit. But this one is a real doozy of a duel, so hope y'all don't mind that we just have one today. Let's check it out. So I win the coin toss. Of course, I choose to go first. Hand looks fantastic. I'll start with the tuning, just kind of testing to see if they have an Ash they want to use or something. We mill an Assault Synchron. That's fine. It's just dark to get rid of. Opponent has Fuelos. Not ideal, but we don't have to summon from the extra deck that much. It could literally just be 2 Chaos Angels, and that's it, right? So we go for Diviner now. Diviner sticks. So this will be our first Chaos Angel. Just do the Play with Tragedy here. He gets to draw 1 card as I go into the Chaos Angel. That's fine. Gonna use Magnemite on that extra Assault Synchron, and he drew the second Fuelos. So now he'll get 2 draws if I go into another Chaos Angel. But what's really the point of just 1 Chaos Angel, right guys? We gotta go in for 2. So I'm gonna bring out Lubellion here so I can get my Regained. We'll fire off Charge here. We milled another Lubellion. Okay. Assault Synchron gonna come down now. So I do have a Saronir in hand here, so I can totally do the Bestial Dispater play, but that would give him too many draws. So instead, I just go straight into the other Chaos Angel, and we'll add with our Magnemite here. There it is, 2 Chaos Angels. Can he do it? Well, his hand looks pretty good. Diabellstar Send Rollback. Not too shabby of a start, and he's got a Ghost Ogre for my Regained, so I won't be able to use that either. Unfortunate. We've been hamstrung somewhat significantly here, but, you know, 2 Chaos Angels is still somewhat difficult, and we have 2 Bestials in hand. He is going to be playing Light and Dark attribute monsters, so maybe we can do something about that. As it turns out, though, we don't have a fantastic opportunity for a little while here, so let's put on the fast forward for a moment while we go through his turn. He just searched this trap card, whatever it's called. It's a Book of Moon for a special summoned monster, and he has rollback, so he gets to use it right away. So there goes 1 Chaos Angel, and it's set on the field, so next turn he'll be able to use it again if he needs to get rid of the other Chaos Angel. And he's just absolutely popping off here. This is pretty much the best deck in the game right now that he's playing. He opened a really good hand, and I cannot stop his combos at all right now, so he's just going off like crazy. Goes into IP, so that he can trigger the Flamberge effect. And there we have it, Underworld Goddess. So he did, in fact, out both of my Chaos Angels, but doing so required him to commit a lot of his resources into this Underworld Goddess. And here, I actually have a good opportunity to use a Bestial. He goes to negate, but I just have a second one, so won't allow him to equip. And you'll see that even though he outed both of our Chaos Angels, We hampered his plays significantly enough such that he doesn't really end on much of anything here. He's got the set trap card we know, and he's going to SP us. He also has the temple, I guess, for what that's worth, and, you know, set up for next turn. But the board we're looking at right now isn't too terribly intimidating. I actually get to use the Despian Tragedy effect. I told you it comes up once in a blue moon. Well, this is one of those duels. So Regained is back on the field. I'm going to banish to get out my Baldrake, shuffle him back, draw a card. It's another Raiden. That's really bad. So we'll just do what we can here. We'll make Baron de Fleur, because I have to have something to do about that trap card. There it goes. Obviously, I negate. Foolishly here, he chooses to use the SP. I really don't think he should have done that. Obviously, he keeps his SP alive, but now I get my Baron back, and it's going to have a negate again, because it's a new card face up on the field. So there we go. I've got Baron, I've got Regained. He paid half his life points. Maybe that ends up mattering, you know, we'll see. I just go ahead and use the Baron negate immediately here. It doesn't really matter that much. He is going to be able to play, because, you know, he has all these good cards in the graveyard. He can just go ahead and activate Hallowed, add himself back. He's got another Diabell Star. This will let me trigger my Regained at least. Going for Magnemite, I just want some more cards right now. He had to go through a lot of his extra deck last turn. You can see he only has 9 cards left. So I am partially hoping that we'll be able to drag this out a bit longer. He won't have the kill shot. So I think the Magnemite search is going to be important. Anyway, Ilya, or whatever this one's name is. Yeah, Ilya Silva comes back. Oak bringing back Poplar for another OSS. Link Haribo, again, right? Like, he's just got so much stuff. But because of how annoying it was for him to handle our first turn board, he's actually having some trouble putting the pieces together here. We got Promethean Princess for Flamberge. Flamberge is going to get rid of one of our monsters here. Bye-bye Baron. But that's all he has for now. He just has to go battle, and this isn't lethal. We're absolutely still in this, so I get my Druisworm search here off the Magnemite. We top deck another Chaos Space. Not a very good draw. All normal Raiden, he just Effect Veilers it. Sure, I guess. It's a reasonable play, I suppose. And we still have to think about that SP, of course. I'm going to go ahead and Druisworm. He gets to set his trap again. And if you see in his deck list, he's actually only playing one of these trap cards, but he's been able to put it back on the field so many times. And yet we're still fighting through it all, so he's going to negate my Regained summon there. Unfortunate. But now, since he hadn't SP'd me here, I get to go into Dispater. He could have chosen to SP in response to the Regain, but he tried to negate it instead. So now the Dispater's on the board and it's too late. ESP at this point, I'm just going to negate it. Dispater can shuffle back any card. It doesn't have to be a monster, so I'll just put back his rollback. SP gets negated. Druisworm is going to go off, get rid of the Doomed Dragon. And Dispater can just bring back the Chaos Angel that I banished for my Bestial earlier. This guy triggers on Special Summon. He doesn't have to be Synchro Summoned, so I can banish another one of his cards. Mop up his entire field. The Chaos Angel, of course, has none of its special effects, because it was not summoned using any monsters at all. It was just pulled out of the banish pile. But I've got a negate with Dispater, and I've just got 2 big bodies here, plus the Regained. This is not too bad. And again, his extra deck just keeps getting smaller. Ilya Silva back on the field again. I will trigger the Regained here. He is going to negate it. Fine by me, I guess. If you're going to go through the effort of fusion summoning just to immediately get rid of that fusion monster, works out. He's going to use the Fiendsmith here. I can't let that resolve. Obviously, that would just out my Dispater. So, not going to allow that. And he's kind of out of cards here. He has to pass. Just 1,300 life points left. This is looking pretty much over. You know, he could book one of my monsters if he wants, but he can't handle both of them, and that is it. GG. So there you go. A really long, drawn-out, tough-fought victory there against what's probably the best deck in the game. Not that his build was necessarily optimal or that he played perfectly, but I thought it was a fun duel regardless. Showed off this deck performing really well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think of the deck. If you try it out yourself, let me know how it goes. And I will be back later with some more funny decks, and I will catch you guys then. Peace.